There are just a few people in your life who are getting extremely filthy, stinking rich off of the back of you, people that you've never met and probably never will meet. And these particular people might be at the very top of your company. They could be your boss's 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 boss. So your boss and your boss's bosses, they're all part of the same sick pyramid scam, right? But here's what's happening. At the very top, there's one or two people or a small group of people that's making the bulk of the money at the company you work for. And everyone else kind of gets screwed, just like a pyramid scam. Every job, bar none, is a pyramid scam in the context of how you're being compensated is a pyramid scam. So these people at the very top is probably going to be a passive income. Passive income is the kind of income that keeps paying you even if you don't work, even if you don't show up, it comes in anyway. That's why it's passive. It's freedom. That's what creates freedom, so you can do what you want with your time. And so, in this set of circumstances, goes up this pyramid scheme, this ladder thing, this triangle shape of this, and there's a few people at the top that earn this beautiful, wonderful income, filthy rich. They can do what they want with their time, take the yacht out for the weekend, all on the backs and the effort and the energy of you, while you have to keep showing up every day because you have no passive income. They make the passive income, and you have to keep showing up every day for the proverbial hamster wheel paycheck, working hard, going nowhere. And if you get off that hamster wheel of working hard, going nowhere, that income stops and you are no longer covered to eat or to pay your bills or take care of your family or to do anything. That doesn't sound right to me. It is what it is. That's the nature of the beast of depending on a job for your livelihood. Now, here's a better way of making passive and residual income, far superior to this other inferior way of doing it. I make passive and residual money. In fact, I am not interested in making any other kind of money. Therefore, I don't have a job, and I'm not self-employed the way that most people are self-employed, because most self-employed people have no passive residual money, and they're even bigger slaves shackled to the dollar than people with a job, which is hysterical, because the primary motivation the self-employed have to be self-employed is for freedom. And they have less of it than people with a job because they know nothing about passive and residual money. So here's what I do, and here's what very few people know about and actually do to create passive and residual money. And these are the true rich people, in my personal opinion. What we do is we build our passive and residual money on the backs of, and the hopes of, and the dreams of, and the efforts of other people building their own passive money, their own passive and residual money for their dreams and their hopes and their goals and their obstacles and their family and everything else. So for the context of this conversation here in this video, what I'm showing you guys is that you can make, first, there is no freedom without passive and residual income. And freedom of the mind precedes all other freedoms. So if you have freedom of the mind, then you can learn about passive and residual money and become a free human being with freedom of your time, financial freedom, and all those other wonderful things. But there's two ways you can build passive and residual money. The first way is the way I described earlier. You can do it on the backs and the efforts of people who have to show up every day for a paycheck. The opposite of passive money. You can make passive money that way. There's a lot of people doing it. I don't agree with it, but that's how business as usual, traditional businesses run. You can make passive and residual money on the backs of other people who are shackled to the dollar. And that's what thrives your passive money. Or you can do the far better and superior thing and make your passive and residual money on the backs and the efforts and the hopes and the dreams of other people that are building their own passive money. The ones that are unshackling themselves from the dollar because they hate it so much and the limitations that it gives them and their families. So which way would you like to get your freedom? I mean, you already want to be free. There's nobody that says, I don't want to be free. There's nobody that says, I don't want to be financially covered in case, God forbid, an emergency happens, or I might want to take a vacation with my family or take some personal time, or maybe I want to do some interesting project because it's interesting to me, but it pays nothing, but I can't because I have to keep showing up at my job to make sure that I'm covered so I can eat and pay my bills and take care of my family. Nobody says they don't want those things. Everybody wants to be a free human being. So now that we've got that established, you have to build passive and residual income. Self-employment's not going to get you there. Ask most self-employed people. They have less freedom than you do with a job. You have to make passive and residual money. And you have to decide the kind of person that you want to be that's making that passive and residual money. Do you want to make passive and residual money on the backs of other people that have to remain shackled to the dollar? Or do you want to make your passive money on the backs and efforts of people that are also making their own passive money for their own dreams? So you're doing it together in a team environment, right? That's more beautiful. It's organic. It's a reflection of how nature works. It's wonderful. And I have no doubt I just threw you a softball down the middle and you're saying, yeah, the latter sounds cool. You know, the only place that is really possible for all of us to do, it's going to blow your mind. It's called MLM, multi-level marketing, network marketing. Now, most people that are doing MLM, they treat people like shit. They act like scum. Even otherwise great people, suddenly they do this, and then these otherwise great people become these unrecognizable weird creatures that you don't even recognize anymore. That's not how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, most people will continue to be that way because that's just how most people are. And there's some of us, the ones that actually create the most success, there's some of us that treat people like free-thinking human beings. If you're not interested, it's cool. You're not weird. I'm not weird. You know what it looks like when I share my deal with somebody? It's like this. Here's the information. If you have a sincere interest, if it speaks to you, we'll talk about it. We'll have a conversation. And if it's not your thing, it is no big deal. There's more than enough for everyone. I'm not worried. Truly, that's how I am. Ask somebody in network marketing, MLM, what the price is of their thing. And that's usually the most awesome question you can ask just to find out who's going to be weird and maybe a little bit scummy about it and who's not. When somebody asks me, I can say it's this much. Or maybe sometimes, depending on what we're talking about, the conversation, I can say it's going to be between this much and this much, depending on what your goals are. Tell me what your goals are, and I'll give you an exact quote so you know what to budget for. And people are like, yeah, okay, that's rational thinking. That's cool. And at the end of the day, if you're sincerely not interested, no problem. There's more than enough for everybody. It's no big deal. That's how it is. So as a result of that, a lot of people end up enrolling with me. I found that's how you create real success in an MLM, which is the only thing that's really available to you and me and all of us, no matter how broke we are, how we start with. I'm not broke anymore because I've been doing this for 9 years, but you can be totally broke. You can be $1 million in debt. You can have absolutely no free time. And you can get started in something like this to create your freedom with passive and residual money, because we've established that is the only way you're going to get freedom. Freedom of the mind precedes, okay, I need to get passive and residual money. Then you got to decide the kind of person you want to be. Do you want to build your passive and residual money on the backs and efforts of other people that need to be shackled to the dollar? Or do you want to build your passive money on the backs and efforts of other people who are building their own passive and residual money too, as a team? That's MLM. That is exactly multi-level marketing, network marketing. And the only reason somebody could have for not being a fan of MLM, because a lot of people aren't, and the only reason that exists is because most people in it act like shit. They just do. But most people in life act like shit. So it's really, this is a reflection of true, real life, is MLM network marketing. But that is the only reason why it doesn't sit well with a lot of people that hear about it. And so the only possible reason that somebody would have for not wanting to get into an MLM is just they don't understand it. They think it's something you have to get into, that's a pyramid scheme, that you have to be weird and pressure people, and you have to give up being yourself and all these things. And I found all of that is just the opposite is true. Instead of not being yourself, I found more success when I am myself. Instead of pushing people, I have more success when I'm attracting people. Instead of worrying about not enrolling somebody, I have more success when I let people go. And I'm like, there's more than enough for everyone. It's all good. So it's the opposite of what most people think about it. And when you come to understand what MLM really is, you're going to be the biggest freaking fan of it, because it's going to be the thing that lets you be yourself. It's going to be the thing that forces you to develop yourself personally, personal growth and development. And it's going to be the thing where you get to create freedom for yourself by helping other people create freedom for themselves, instead of creating freedom for yourselves on the backs of other people that are shackled by the dollar. I'm in love with that. And if you understand it, I know that you would be as well. I have no doubt about it. So if you want to find out what I do, practicing what I'm preaching, connect with me privately. I'll share the info with you. You can ask me about the price. You can ask me whatever you want, and it's not going to be weird. And at the end of the day, you don't have a sincere interest, you don't have to do it. I hope you find something that works for you, because there's more than enough for everybody to go around. There truly is. And if you do have a sincere interest in what I'm doing, then we'll have a conversation. And if you want to do this, we will do it. I'm a very highly motivated, passionate, driven human being, and I've been consistently doing this for 9 years so far. So I'm a rock. You can depend on me. That is, if you're showing up and you're the kind of person that does what you say you're going to do, then you can depend on me. And that's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Share this video. Great ideas are worth spreading, in my opinion. That's why you see me share what I share. I love great ideas. Take care, everyone. My website is tomberkenmeyer.com, just like it's spelled on social media. Take out the space, all lowercase. tomberkenmeyer.com. And connect with me privately on social media and share this with your friends. And I will see you later. Mwah.